part two of Kwame, and well, really part three. But yeah, I wanted to ask you really about Bobby from Rockaway, Bobby J. Just in
Bobby
terms of
J from Rockaway.
yeah, just you know what I'm saying, for your perspective of how that all came about, like because you know we interviewed him recently and it was dope and he explained it, but like what did you see in Bobby to be like, yo, I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, take this kid under my wing.
I wonder if Bob told the real story. So
All right, let's get it.
I gotta take you back. There was a real big heavy cat in the street around my way named Billy Bang. And Billy Bang got sent up, and he was very, back to my friend Ron Lawrence, very good friends with Ron. I knew Billy too, but he was more in Ron's age range. And Billy asked Ron to look after his son, Ant, because Ant could rhyme. And Ron didn't really have the time to develop a rapper, but he asked me if I would. So he introduced me to Ant, who was going by the name of Prophet at the time. And Ant was like 13, 14 years old. But when I tell you, the only person I could equate Ant with at 14 is if you took Rakim and you took Nas and you put them together, and that was Ant. Ant was amazing.
Whoa.
And Ant's story is very, very pivotal in Bobby's story. So I'm working on Ant's music, and Ant was coming from this weird duality perspective because his mom was a corrections officer and his father was in jail for the things he was in jail for. So Ant had this duality about him. Like he was street, he was knowledge, and then he was, you know, straight laced at the same time. So we were making these dope ass records. Ant's best friend in high school, they went to this Catholic high school. His best friend was Bobby. So Ant started bringing Bobby around. So here comes this 13-year-old white kid who was ill as shit. Like them together, like two of the illest rappers I've, you know, and they're 13, 14 years old. At that time, I'm like, I don't know how old I was, 26, 27. And I'm like, what the hell? And so, but Bob's name, instead of Eminem, his name was Skittles.
What? He didn't mention that.
He ain't gonna never mention that.
He left that shit out.
So his name was Skittles. Instead of Skittles like the candy, it was Skit-Ills, like Skitillz. And I was just like, yo, man, this got to be the stupidest fucking name I ever heard. And to Bobby's defense, they both, Ant and Bob, had this guy named Steve that was managing them. And so I think Steve kind of forced that name. And so I started working with both of them.
Yo, read that shit.
What happened? What happened?
He read that shit. He said, people call me that in school. He said, I didn't name myself that, you dick.
I didn't even see that. Where's he? What? I just said, Bob, I said Steve named you that. I don't even see him. I don't even see him in the comments.
Yeah, IGB fucker. He says, LMAO, people call me that in school. I didn't name myself that, you dick.
Yeah,
Skittles.
But you,
yo,
but,
I like Bobby J from Rockaway much better. So I'm
but no, but
it
goes down the line. So we're working with Skittles and Prophet. You know, we're like, okay, we gotta get rid of Skittles, and then his name became Beyond Belief. And that was just because when you see Bob, you
Bobby
didn't even
hold on,
know.
yo. Bobby breaking this shit down right now, yo. Like you can't see it. He's talking about, yo. He is really like putting up this, you know, trying to clarify this shit. He's like,
Bob,
after
let me tell the story. You know I ain't gonna lie. So
all right, Kwame got the floor.
So Bob was now called Beyond Belief, and we were running with that story. Ant ended up going to. He just kind of like strayed off and ended up going to DC and going into Howard University. And Ant was becoming more like he wanted. It was like his ratchet side was taking over. And the thing about Ant that was real messed up with me, it was like I was taking Ant's records to try to get deals, and these labels will literally be like, this is when like Little Flip and Mike Jones was popping, and what's the dude with the gold teeth, the white guy, what's his name?
From
Mike
Texas?
Jones. Yeah.
Not Paul Wall.
Paul Wall, sorry. So those guys, for some reason, those guys were super popping at the time that I was going up into these labels, and every label wanted that. So they wanted Bob to be like a Paul Wall, and they wanted Ant to be like Mike Jones, and that's not what we were making.
Yeah, I'm picturing that in my mind right now, though.
Yeah, that is not what we were making at all. So Ant kind of like went on his own. When he does his own, he went on his own thing, and he started to just get a little bit more ratchet and ratchet and ratchet. So it strayed away from the zone that I was trying to be in. So I started working real heavy with Bob, and we started making these records, and we were kind of falling into the trap of finding a gimmick, finding a niche, finding something. So we put out a song called Don't Touch. You go on YouTube, you go watch Don't Touch right now. It was not a bad song. And Bobby's niche was more like high school kid having fun, throwing parties when the parent isn't watching. And
who was it under? Who was it under?
Beyond
Skittles
Belief.
or Bobby J? Huh?
Beyond Belief, Don't Touch, unless Bob took it down, which he could have. And so, and you'll see an incredibly young Bobby J. So
I think we got to play that shit. I got it.
We did the Don't Touch record, and it started getting buzz. Like radio stations started playing it. Some record labels were looking at it, and so we were making these type of records where they were more like pop oriented, fun records, but yet we were also making some straight up hip hop shits too. But we figured because of Eminem, because of other cats that were out, that was the only way at that time to accept a white rapper, because it was only Eminem. Literally, it was only him, except for Paul Wall and Bubba Sparks. And so, you know, Bobby went to college at this point, and you know, a lot of things went on in his life, personal things that went on in his life, things that went on in my life, and it kind of like, we didn't like separate, you know, and not work or anything like that, but we just kind of had to put chill buttons on a lot of things, because we were spending a lot of money and a lot of time trying to develop this Beyond Belief thing. And we were going so hard at trying to, you know, we were getting shitty deals with record promoters, like trying to get records on the radio. We just didn't know. We were literally going through the whole motion together. And luckily my production thing was doing well. So with help with Bobby's parents, my help, we were putting a lot of money into shit, trying to pop. You know, and it was weird. Like we were performing, like Bob was did the Howard Homecoming, and we would go to different colleges. He had that frat boy college style, which basically ended up being everything that Asher Roth ended up doing, which was somebody that I was working with before he popped off. So Asher was fully aware of what Bobby was doing. I'm not saying anybody jacked. I'm just saying Asher was around. Asher Roth. What's the other kid, Bob? What's homeboy's name that passed away?
Mac Miller.
Mac Miller. That whole vibe that Mac Miller was on and Asher Roth was on was beyond belief, 100%. And we were just 2 to 3, 4 years beyond our time, ahead of our time. And so it wasn't like we were doing the wrong thing. It wasn't like we were making whack records either. Like, don't get it twisted. We were making great records. But it was in the zone of like B.O.B. and just cats like that. That type of gym class heroes and those kind of records, or even Lupe Fiasco when he had some of those records that B.O.B. ended up taking that lane and doing. That was the lane we were trying to go in. We were shooting for the moon on that one. And as time went by, we just, that thing went out of style, and Bobby came home and he was just, he was doing his thing here and there. And then all of a sudden, I really don't know what put the battery back in his back, but the battery was fully charged. And I think he probably needed that time off for it to be fully charged. And, he dropped the Beyond Belief, his first and his last name, Bobby J, he just went with his real name. He's from Rockaway, Queens. So it just made sense, Bobby J from Rockaway, because that's how people described him. And so he started just dropping these like mixtapes or these videos to go along with it. He got himself a camera, and the people that were around him at the time, including his brother, helped him film these guerrilla style videos, and he just kept hitting them, and he started freestyling over stuff, and it broke away from him just working with me. He started expanding his profile and seeking out other people and working with other people and pulling the people in and really getting his online presence up and everything like that. And so we then we were working on records that whole time. We knew he wanted to drop a record. So all this time we're working on songs. So there's like a gang of Bobby J songs in my computer that we've done that's never seen the light of day. But at the same time, it wasn't the fit that he was looking for. He was pulling in other producers, and then he did the Summer Classics album. And then from there, he just started rolling with doing other records, doing other projects. And I think he's making a dope name for himself. It's so dope to see other people outside of the 5 people in our crew to know who Bobby J is.
Listen, let me stop for a second. This kid is a killer. I got hip. I saw the return shit a couple years ago, 2019, I guess it was whenever you guys did the return shit, and I was like, hold up, who is this kid, and where the fuck has Kwamé been, like, with these bars? I was like, my head exploded, fam. Like, I was like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? And did the knowledge and everything. He worked with us when I was with a radio station and stuff like that. So yeah, the kid is a killer. But back to my original joint though, like, what was it that made you say, I'm gonna fuck with him? Because back at during that time, there was a ton of 13-year-old motherfuckers trying to rhyme and shit like that. But what? Because to me, that's a special thing right there.
The thing that I saw in Bob, like, I saw he attacked wanting to be great the same way I attacked wanting to be great at that same age. And whatever he didn't know, like, for him, he could have just been like, hip hop started with Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Eminem, and he could, and that he would have been just fine. But for somebody to actually sit there and listen to somebody older than him talk about Big Daddy Kane and Slick Rick and Rakim and KRS-One and the Sugar Hill Gang and Cool G Rap, and then him going home and studying that shit and coming back and knowing that stuff. You know, we had on par music conversations. We still do. You know, on par creative conversations. And it's like, you know, a lot of kids don't have that. You know, he comes in the studio with questions. You know, he never has the I know it all attitude or I've been there, I did this attitude. He doesn't carry that about him. He carries everything he does as a student. But he's nice as shit. Like he knows how he feels that is extremely important in this day where being nice don't mean nothing anymore. He still feels like it's extremely important to have those bars. It's extremely important to express yourself that way. And he understands that it might not get him at the top of the world, you know, where we thought we were going to try to be back, you know, in 2008, you know, or 2002, 2003, you know, it might not get him there, but he understands that having his musicality, being a master of his craft, having his respect is way more important than the fanfare. Because what if we did get what we wanted in 2000? Bob, what year was that? Okay, say it was 2008, I believe. In 2008, 2007. And where would it be now? You know what I'm saying? We could have just been like any one of them rappers that was out in 2007 talking about how it was back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing something.
You said 08.
Yeah, doing something continuous and continuing to be dope, you know. And it's still, I think for the road that Bobby's on, I think the road that we're both on together at times, it's still a journey. You know, it's still a journey. More people are knowing about him every day. And the dope thing about Bob is it's his consistency.
Right.
You know, as a person, personally, there's been a lot of adversity that has happened within his personal realm. There's been a lot of good things, there's been a lot of bad things, but it never stopped his drive. Like, I've never heard Bob ever say, I think I'm gonna quit this shit.
He better
you know
not.
what I'm saying? And we've been hit with bricks, you know?
Word.
You shelled out, like, there was this guy, I'm not even gonna name him, he's not even alive anymore. But there was this guy that we would pay, we were recommended to him by people in the business. Bob, don't blow his name up. He's not around to defend himself.
You can blow his name up, Bobby, if you want.
We would pay this guy $10,000 to put his record out there for radio stations to listen to, just listen to, not pick up, not play, listen to, because we were advised that this was the thing to do. And here we are shelling out this money. You know, like his first video, that Don't Touch video. And now granted, technology was not the same in 2008. So the price of the video should not be a stain. It's not a stain at all. But it cost us $30,000 to make that video. You know what I'm saying? We scraping up this money to make a video to really get things to work, and we didn't. Yeah, Bob will rat people's names out, so I gotta catch him. I gotta catch him up first. No, but you know, we had to scrape this money up, and we made a good video for the time, and
30 G's, my nigga.
Yeah, but you're talking about, we paid 30 G's for a video when other people were paying 500,000 for videos at
Yeah,
time.
back in the day, the shit was different. I mean, yeah, you're not shooting it on the fucking Galaxy.
Yeah,
I
like
mean?
people were bugging, like the budgets for things in 2008, 2000, like I would say between 2001 and 2012, anything that you would pay, like for now, a video, a comparable video could be $1,500 right now, but in 2008, that shit was $30,000.
God
you
damn,
know, if
son.
you were on a major label, if you were like Jay-Z and you were shooting a video, or any rapper that was just shooting a video that looked all glossy walking down the street with the lights in the back, that shit was $1 million. You know what I'm saying? $1 million for that.
I stay over here. God damn.
For people to be looking, you know, doing the shiny suits and everything, you paid $1 million for that.
Word.
So,
I see. God damn.
You know, so $30,000 was
a drop in the bucket. God damn.
You know, $30,000 was you know, I was rolling in my producer money at the same time. You know, everybody was trying to be, we were trying to get it. And what I'm saying is, oh, my Aunt Vanessa's in here. Shout out to my Aunt Vanessa.
Salute Aunt Vanessa.
So what I was saying is, we were really, really trying to make our way, and Bobby stayed consistent. He remained consistent, and he never gave up. Whatever we did in 2008 is what we did in 2008. I'm not ashamed of it. I hope he's not ashamed of it. We made some dope ass records. And what we do in 2021 is what we do in 2021. It's like, we just gotta keep, just as a collective or as separate artists, we just, we walk down that line and we just keep going until we can't go no more.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like, this cat's ill, and excuse me, an interesting point you brought up is, yeah, he's a student of the game, man. I mean, we chopped it up, and I felt like, I was talking more to a peer rather than someone who was 14 years younger than me. You know what I mean? Like, it was like you could tell he may have not been there at the time, but he's studied the game and has really got to, really paid attention to who came, the predecessors. So salute, man. I really, we fuck with him here. So
yeah,
we like.
Oh man, I got hope. My uncle Abe is in here. Shout out to Abe and Vanessa. What up, both of y'all? Chilling in Florida.
And you got a cousin. Somebody said, "Hey, cousin." I don't know if they're really your cousin. Yaya Seven Martin.
Oh yeah. That's my cousin.
All right.
What's up?
So
she's out in Houston.
Right, whole family up in this piece. A couple more things before we got with a cover before we bounce. We'll stick with the artist thing. Yo, for you, or like, what would you tell an artist right now? Like, what's the most important thing for them in 2021? Somebody really wanting to do this music shit. Somebody really sincere, trying to do it. They love it. I want to see where it goes.
What would you make a decision if
What's
this
that?
is something you want to do as a hobby, or if this is something you want to do.
You said make a decision?
Yeah, they have to make a decision. Like a young artist needs to make a decision. Is this something that you want to do as a hobby, or is this something you want to do as a lifelong thing? Because when you get in it and you're really in it, you're in it for life. You understand? And you have to understand that whatever's happening right now will never happen forever. So, you know, there's a lot of young artists that are just into the right now, and they want to do what's happening right now. And they think that because they're nice at what they do, they'll pop right now. And they don't understand that sometimes right now takes 10 years, like I said earlier. And you have to have that thick skin. You got to understand what rejection is like. You got to understand what extreme struggle is like, you know, trying to get your point across and your artistry out there. You have to be able to be criticized and not take it as somebody hating on you. You know what I'm saying? If you're putting something out for public consumption, be prepared for public criticism.
Thank you.
Nobody's hating you. It's not about you. And that's the biggest thing. This thing called hip hop, this thing called music, this thing called entertainment, this thing called life is not about you. It's about what you can contribute to it. And then lastly, figure out who you are. Like really figure out who you are, figure out who you represent and how you represent it, and represent it to the fullest. Be 100% unapologetically you. Don't be who somebody tells you to be. Don't be who you think you're supposed to be. Don't be anything, because people buy into authenticity. At the end of the day, the biggest artists in the world are the most authentic artists in the world. I'm not talking about the popular ones. I'm not talking about the ones that are dope this year and you don't even recognize their name next year. I'm talking about the ones who you truly believe you know and you understand and you can relate to. And those are the artists that are 100% being them. So all of those things wrapped up into a nice little bow. You know, it ain't easy, it ain't pretty, it ain't glamorous. Even when you're on top, it ain't the most glamorous thing in the world. It's about what you show people. And once a young artist really understands that, they can pursue this thing better. And the reason why I'm saying that, and I'm pretty sure anybody up here that knows young kids, like say, I don't know, their 20s on down, you ask a kid what they want to be, and, you know, they'll say, I want to be a reality star. You know, and it's like, we're living in a world where you don't really necessarily have to have a talent to do anything. Kids just want to be famous. Like, what do you want to be? I want to be famous. What do you do? Like, what do you do? Like, what do you want to do? How do you want to be famous? What can you do? What can you contribute? They don't know. They have no clue. Unfortunately, if it's a girl, if she got some body and some kind of look, she knows that can get her somewhere for some point. If it's a guy, it's usually how his antics or his theatrics. But even then, even when you break it down to the simplest thing like that, the people who win are the people who actually have talent for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have some sort of talent. You can't just do nothing and become something. And if you did become something from nothing, that something never stays.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you don't think so? There's a lot of people that have become something from nothing, and they're trash.
How much nothing is it really? You know, they had to, you know, and I'm saying they had to put in, say, for example, you became the biggest TikTok star in the world because you made these creative videos, right? There's some sort of creativity there.
Thanks.
It's something there. Even if it's you talking into the screen and you're just talking and you're goofing off, there's something about you that makes everybody want to watch. Whatever it is, there's a talent. There's something there. Where, as opposed to some kid thinks that they see the kid with something there and they don't have anything, and they think that they can transfer their nothingness into something. That it just never works.
Yeah,
Or never,
you made a good point.
and if it does work, it never lasts. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
that's the point. The staying power isn't necessarily there. You
Yeah,
may
yeah.
you may you may catch a wave for a minute, but it's not sustainable, and that's
But
the whole.
and it goes back to what I was saying. Just because something is happening right now, that doesn't that doesn't need that doesn't mean that it's happening forever. You understand what I'm saying?
Back,
So say you
facts.
caught that wave right now. The talent comes in when you got to figure out what's next. You know, some people there's a great talent to catching a wave and turning that wave into a whole other stream of something.
Right.
And we don't have to worry about what what um what you caught the wave from. We now see what you're doing now. We now see what you're doing. You know, like for example, you know, I gotta use say Jay-Z as an example. Jay-Z is now catching waves as a straight up business guy, buying and selling companies. Like any other business guy that's experienced and talented at that, he's managed to do that. So how do we not know in 10, 15, 20, 30 years, the old Jay-Z might be the equivalent to, and I'm not trying to say the actual equivalent, but like a Donald Trump type figure where he's just like this big businessman. You don't know where the money's coming from. You don't know where the money went. You just know that he's a rich businessman, and you try to tell a kid, you know, he used to rap. You know what I'm saying? The kid's gonna be like, what? For real? You know, because it's like that. It's like that with certain people now. So you know, it's about how you turn that wave in. And I know he's joking, but he's not joking. I just saw my man Bow-Legged Lou from Full Force in the comment saying that he taught me, but you actually did. Because I look at the producers that came before me. I look at the producers that are very successful, that did successful things, and I watch how they did it, and I find myself extremely lucky to know somebody like a Bow-Legged Lou, and we joke around and we bug out all the time. But at the same time, I admire that brother, and I admire the things that he did, and how he and his brothers maneuvered, especially when I was younger. Because when I was trying to figure out how to be a producer in this game, how to really and be an artist at the same time, you had to look at people that were doing that. You know what I'm saying? And Full Force were one of the people that was actually doing that. So
How'd you my head just popped off again, fam. Like, I mean, like I saw him in the comments and I'm like, yo, what? Like, and I didn't say anything, but how'd you link up with him?
it's not about a link up. It's just like, at the same time, it's not, we end up just being in the same spaces.
Yeah,
People from certain generations and certain eras, we end up doing shows together. We end up doing appearances together, end up being on cruises together. It doesn't, in different countries, in different cities, so you end up over time, you end up, if you're around long enough and you diversify yourself, like I have, like Lou has, like other, certain other people have, you end up meeting and being around such a wide range of people in such the weirdest circumstances. Like, perfect example, if I saw Todd Bridges from Different Strokes on the street right now, we'd be like, oh shit, what's up? What's up? And so somebody would go, how the hell do you know Todd Bridges?
Exactly.
Right? But
that's what I love. That's what I want to. That's inquiring minds want to know. That shit is
one day in Philadelphia, there's a children's hospital.
Yes, I know it. Chip.
Yeah, Chop.
I used to Chop.
So there was this thing that I was involved with where they put celebrities, and celebrities would go and talk to the kids, and they would pair you up with people for the whole day. So for one whole day, it was me and Todd Bridges all day, hanging out, talking to kids, going to lunch, going to dinner. And for me,
It
It
makes
was
no
the most
sense.
surreal experience ever, because like you know, everywhere we would go, somebody would stop Ty Bridges, and like I remember a cop stopped us. He saw us in the car, he stopped us, pulled us over just to go and go, "What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?" That's all the cop wanted to do. And
What?
Ty Bridges is sitting there like, I can't live this shit down for nothing. Oh, I want to acknowledge, I see the whole Tune Crew up in here. I want to say what's up to
Oh,
all my people.
they've been thick up in this
Yeah, yo,
motherfucker.
shout out to the Tune Crew. If y'all don't know
Listen,
what the Tune Crew is,
I don't know what that is all about, but yo, they've been deep up in this bitch.
the Tune Crew, I do this DJ set every Saturday where I play classic hip hop from late 70s to the late 90s. And it's called Saturday Morning Tunes. So all of those who partake in Saturday Morning Tunes, we have formed a clique and a crew, and they have dubbed the Tune Crew. So
Are there any men in the Tune Crew? Cause my nigga, like on some real shit. it's like 30,000 shorties like on the fucking show right now. Like out of the 39 people there, I would say like 38 of them are Tune Crew. So like, yeah, boy genius. I mean, what the fuck is good, man? Like,
yeah, the Tune Crew is thick. Tune Crew is real thick.
Diesel. Like they held it down during the last. They held it down during the last.
The Tune Crew has held me down literally for a year straight. It'll be my 1 year anniversary on the my birthday is March 28th. So I think my first live set was maybe the day after my birthday, March 29th, whatever that Saturday was. They've been rocking with me from that day on. So
yeah, they rock with you, nigga.
super props to the Tune Crew, man.
Yeah,
like,
they hold you down, man. They've been holding this fucking feed down, my nigga. For real.
Yeah.
Like, and my other niggas been in the show, like, yo, who the fuck is this? Like, yo, like, yo, let's keep it 100, man. Like, yeah. So no, salute, man, for real. Like, it's real people that fucking on some real shit, real fans that like really, you know what I mean? Like, hold you down.
It's like 100% support, and it means, like, I can't even describe what it means to me, because it was nothing that I expected or anything. It was just like, I'm on a pandemic. I don't DJ. I don't never consider myself a DJ, but I wanted to give like a hip hop, you know, a concert type thing to people online. And it was just like, you know, I brought in different artists and they would jump in and they would perform. It was called the One Song Breakfast Jam. That was the first thing we did. And different artists got to perform, you know, cats that, you know, like Prince Marky D, the one time that the last time he performed in front of everybody was on that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we got to see cats. We haven't, like, for example, Biz Markie's been ill for several months now. But you know, before he got sick, he jumped on that and he performed. You know, Big Daddy Kane, Dougie Fresh, Razcast, the Alcoholics. You know, so many different people came through and showed support. People that I knew, people I didn't know, and it started this weekly thing of me being consistent, me trying to help entertain, try my best to entertain throughout the pandemic and give light to classic hip hop. And you know, it turned into like people are saying, there's literally characters. There's characters that have been developed. Like, if you're not a part of the Tune Crew, you'll never know who Weak Larry is. You're not going to know who Agent Smith is. But I'm going to give you who Agent Smith is. You know how you say Instagram be chopping your show down? That's Agent Smith, because this shit is a Matrix. And if you ever watch the Matrix, Agent Smith was always coming through trying to shut down Morpheus and Neo.
Of course.
So whenever Instagram starts acting up and glitching and shutting people down, everybody's like, yo, that fucking Agent Smith, man, here we come again. So, there's a whole lot of different layers to Saturday morning tunes, man. And
so where can we find that then?
It's right here on Instagram every weekend at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. From 10, and we go like 3 hours, and just classic hip hop.
Word, I'm gonna have to jump on. I mean, I'll be like one of 3 men, but I'll have to.
No. We have the ladies of the Tune Crew are here, but we strong, we deep. It's more than just women. There's guys up in here. Don't get it twisted.
I'm just playing, yo. Like
a diverse crowd.
It's all good. It's all good. So before we get on out of here, I know you're really into comics.
Yeah.
So can we talk DC and Marvel first, please?
Let's go.
I mean, like, this. What's your take, man? Like, DC is always the only people I fuck with. I only fuck with from DC. I fuck with Flash, heavy. Beyond that, Green Lantern, you got a ring, son. Like, I could get a ring and be like Green Lantern too.
See,
like,
no, you can't.
Now, come on. So let's talk about it then.
Give me a hero from DC that you don't understand, and I will break it down.
You're a DC nigga.
I'm a comic book dude.
No, okay, let's go. All right. I mean,
give me one that you just don't get.
Yo, I don't fuck with Batman, son.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about Batman.
Please.
Tell me why you don't quickly, why don't you mess with Batman?
Because, first of all, so first of all, I'll say, like, I look at superheroes. I need my superheroes to have some powers. I mean, that's just me as a kid. As a kid, I need that. I just need that in my life. So that's the first thing. Like, that's off the rip. Like, off the rip. That's the first thing. Fucking, and then I got real sour shit for Batman. My stepmom, she worked with Adam West, and this nigga was running around in tights, all fat and sloppy and shit on the fucking show. This kind of Adam West was a whack nigga on the Batman on that show. So, and he was a dick when he worked with her. She said she did some promo with him or something like that. She said he was a fucking asshole. So I don't fuck with Batman. Robin,
but that's not Batman.
Like, the whole shit was just corny to me. Like, this nigga had the batarang, the batter this, the batter that, the batter that. Come on, man.
Okay. Like, so what you're doing is you're looking at a comedy version of Batman, which is the Adam West Batman, and a continuation comedy of the Super Friends, maybe. So let me break down Batman. First of all, Batman is batshit crazy, out of his mind. He's not a superhero. So we all know the story. Batman's parents get killed.
Yeah.
And psychologically, it all the way fucks him up.
Right.
And his thing was, he's going to now take on a whole city of crime on his own to avenge the murder of his 2 parents, which you can never achieve that. But the thing about Batman that makes Batman dope is, in the world of people like Superman, in the world of people like Wonder Woman and the Flash and all these people with superpowers, Batman, let's get this clear again. Batman is always Batman. His disguise is Bruce Wayne. In his mind, because he's crazy, he knows and believes and 100% knows that he is Batman. And the reason why he chose to be Batman is because he thinks that he can just strike fear into whoever he's trying to catch and literally beat the shit out of him. Batman is a 100% abuser. He's not nice in any way, shape, or form.
What? He always drops them niggas off at the police station.
No, he don't. he dropped him off at the hospital. Let's get it real clear. Batman don't drop nobody off at the police station. So, and this is like reading Batman, when you read Batman. So the thing that's dope about Batman is mentally he feels that he can run with all of these superpowered people with powers of like gods and shit, and he feels like he can run with them. In his mind, he's so convinced, his will is so strong that he's not going to allow anybody with anything over him be better than him. And he will find any contingency plan. He will find any way to find out who their secret identity is. He's going to find out all of their weaknesses, and he's going to always have a contingency plan. So if anybody tries to come at him, he's prepared for all of it. So what I like about Batman is the fact that it shows that you do not have to have these super alien mutated powers to be able to be respected, because every superhero in the DC comics fears Batman because they think he's out of his mind. They don't know what to think when Batman comes around, because it's like they know that he has the drop on everybody. And at any given time, even if you try to kill Batman, he has it set up. So if you did something to him, the drop is always going to be on you. And that's why I rock with Batman. And then on top of that, he takes his money and like, think about this. Superman is the most powerful being in all of DC, right?
Fucking hate Superman. Go ahead.
And his job is a newspaper reporter. You think Superman makes money? The Flash is a forensic scientist. You think he makes money? Wonder Woman is a ambassador. She don't make no money. So the Justice League got a whole satellite. They got a whole spaceship and rocket. Who do you think paid for it? You know what I'm saying? Who paid for it? Batman paid for all that shit. And so here is the guy with the least amount of powers and the most amount of paper, literally having the most powerful people on the planet do what the hell he says to do without him having to tell him what to do. Come on, you gotta love Batman, man.
All right. So I will totally say I totally contradict myself about the powers shit, because Punisher is my man. And so to me, Punisher is Batman without the fucking bat shit, really, to me.
Punisher is one step between Batman and an actual bad guy. You know what I'm saying? So
that's why I love him, because his shit is real as fuck. He be faced with, he's like, yo, am I gonna fucking smoke this nigga right now, or am I just gonna chill right now? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but yo, who you got? Marvel or DC? If you had to pick, gun to your head.
I pick DC over Marvel.
Damn.
I pick DC over Marvel because Marvel, and I'll tell you why.
All right.
Marvel is dope because they give you scenarios with their superheroes that are very deep, very intricate, and very adult.
Right, niggas be drug addicts and shit.
Yeah. And but the problem with Marvel is everybody will wave the Marvel flag, but most of the things they do, they jack from DC. So all of their like real intricate storylines already happened in DC, but because DC is so light and fluffy with it, you're not going to believe that Marvel kind of just jacked it. Like, we're watching a whole movie now, Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is Shazam. They had to change the name for legal reasons, but then Marvel took the name and jacked it, and now you got some lady running around with a DC superhero's name. That's literally like coming out with a hero called Batman, and Batman is already there. There are so many versions of DC Marvel superheroes that are like DC superheroes. Like, if you look at Marvel and you take that superhero Gladiator or Sentry, that's Superman. They just jacked them. Sentry, they threw the S on the dude's chest. Gladiator's the same colors, everything. He's from another planet, but they made him blue instead of, a white guy. But it's a jack. I can go down the line. But but I love them both. That's the thing, you know. It's like instead of saying who I got, which one, there's Marvel heroes that I absolutely love. There's DC heroes that I absolutely love, and I'm such a nerd about it. Like I know I can tell you exactly why I love these people to the molecules. Like I can, like, you don't like Superman. Superman's one of my favorite superheroes, and I can tell you exactly why. And I can tell you in a way where Superman ain't corny, but people see the TV versions or the movie versions, and they're like, all right, he's corny. But
who do you fuck with heavy with from Marvel?
Doctor Strange,
Okay.
Namor, Silver Surfer, Thor, Hulk is my dude, like original version of Hulk, and really, really, really out of all of them, Spider-Man. And Spider-Man mainly because he's almost like Batman. Spider-Man is the guy where nobody likes Spider-Man. If you really read up on Spider-Man and Spider-Man's origin, nobody fucked with Spider-Man. He was the young cat. He reminded me like myself. He's the young cat. He has powers, but yet he goes to the Fantastic Four, right?
Mm.
I want to be in the Fantastic Four. I'm here in New York too. I like you guys. You know, I look up to you guys. Beat it, kid. You're not dope enough. You know, he feels like he has a mutated type of power, so he goes up to Westchester in New York. He knocks on Professor X's door. I might not have been born this way, but I'm pretty much like a mutant. This is a part of my body. I didn't, you know, I don't have to recharge or anything. This is me. This is who I am. Can I be an X-Men? Beat it, kid. You're not born like that, so you can't be an X-Men. So then he goes across town and he goes to Tony Stark and he goes, hey, I'm in New York. I'm fighting crime just like you. I got some powers. I got some strength. I know what I'm doing. I want to be an Avenger. Beat it, kid. You're not even good enough to be an Avenger. And so here you got Spider-Man from Queens, like me, on the street, dealing with his other street dudes like the Punisher and Daredevil and Moon Knight, and they're on the street and they're doing their thing. And Spider-Man is arguably one of the most popular, if not the most popular Marvel superhero. So there are reasons, there's layers to these characters. You know, when these guys wrote these characters a long time ago, they wrote characters for a reason. Like Superman was written for a reason. It was written based on the story of Superman is nothing but the story of Moses. And his creators were Jewish. And at that time in 1938, Jewish people were not being hired for things like that. They were being discriminated against. And they told their Jewish story in the form of a superhero. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty much that. It was like, yo, we're going to tell our story. We're going to tell our religious and our cultural story this way because y'all not going to let us tell our story any other kind of way. We're going to put him as a little white boy in Kansas, and we're going to mask everything by throwing an S on his chest and calling him Superman. So there's always
wow.
You know, there's always things behind each one of these
yeah, there's
mad
layers. I thought I got deep with that shit, man. Thanks for breaking it down. That shit is like
shit. Think about X-Men, the X-Men, Magneto and Professor X. A lot of people don't know that's Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. That's based on Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Magneto's Malcolm X, Professor X is Martin Luther King. They had two ways. They were trying to mutants represented blacks, gays, all the people that just wasn't a part of society at the time. And Stan Lee was like, we can't put Malcolm X and Martin Luther King on a comic book. We can't put two black guys on a comic book in 1962. So we're going to mask it by saying Magneto was more radical, like a Malcolm X. Martin Luther King is like Professor X. He wants everybody to join together and be together. And that's how we came up with the X-Men. Nobody knows that. They just see the bald guy in the wheelchair and the dude that can bend metal. But if you get into these characters and understand where they're from, you understand just how dope some of these guys are.
Wow. And X-Men obviously was a very deep storyline to begin with. I mean, like, even if you didn't know, like, I didn't know what you just shared with me, which is like everyone's heads are fucking popping off right now. Like, that storyline to begin with has always been like really deep as far as the mutant shit and the mutant registration, the
Yeah,
Sentinels. I mean, the whole shit. Like, you know, Wolverine on his shit. Like, you know, the cycle. The whole thing has just always been like really. You know, that was deep. Even I mean, that cartoon, the cartoon back in the day, like, was like, yo, like,
yeah, that cartoon, that '90s cartoon is dope.
yeah, of course. I watched that with my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, the first joint, like Jubilee, like, she's like, yo, I don't know what's going on. Like, you know, so yeah, the whole thing is crazy. We're gonna get on out of here. It's been
Yeah,
2 hours. Thank you very much, man. This, as I said before, this is important. Like, you had apologized before for like, oh, I'm rambling. Yo, listen, everything you have to say is important. You've been there, you've lived it. You know what I mean? So like a lot of stuff with hip hop is not recorded. It's not. It's some word of mouth shit. Big Daddy Kane has AIDS. Fucking Kumo D has like fucking cross-eyed, whatever. Like,
yeah.
so it's important when OGs and when legends share their history, because you know what I mean. I've interviewed everybody from Hyro, but they all have a different story about how they came to Hyro. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yep.
So it's really important, man. So I really appreciate you. Toon Crew appreciate you. Everybody
Yeah.
appreciates you. Like, it's critical, man. So like this is important, like, to document this. So like I really thank you a lot.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank everybody for popping in and rocking out, and see most of y'all on Saturday morning.
No doubt, man. So, you know, maybe we'll do it again. You got mad stories. I'm like, yo, like, fucking bow-legged Lou, like, okay, you know. So, yeah, thanks big up to Bobby J. You know what I'm saying, for setting this up. You know, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying, for the link. You know, so, peace and blessings, man. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying. I'll
All right, man.
tag you in the footage. Thanks a lot.
All right, peace.
Peace.